A wedding is supposed to be a day of joy, a day when families gather, blessings are exchanged, and two lives join together in love. A day of white dresses, laughter, photographs, and promises whispered for a lifetime. But in November of 2023, in a small Thai village, that joy curdled into horror. By the time the night was over, the bride was dead, her family too, and the groom, the very man she had promised to share her future with, turned the gun on himself. What should have been a celebration became a blood-soaked nightmare, one that exposed not only the fragility of human emotion, but the darker undercurrents flowing beneath Thailand's serene image of temples, rice fields, and village harmony. The story unfolded in Loei province, in the northeast of Thailand, about 260 kilometers from Bangkok. Loei is known for its mountains, its forests, and its quiet villages where traditions run deep. But on November 25th, 2023, peace was shattered forever in a community that had never before seen such violence. The groom's name was Chaturang. He was 29 years old, young, strong, once full of promise. His early years were marked by pride. He had served as a Marine, living with discipline and duty. But life had dealt him a cruel blow. A train accident severed his right leg, ending his military career. For many, such a loss would have been the end of ambition, but Chaturang tried to reinvent himself. First, he became a forest ranger. Later, he pursued para-athletics. And in 2022, he competed at the ASEAN Para Games, winning a silver medal in swimming. To outsiders, he was inspiring, proof that tragedy could be turned into triumph. The bride was Kanchana, 44 years old, 15 years older than her groom. She was a beautician, admired by friends for her grace, her cheerfulness, and her warm spirit. She had been married before and had 2 children. Life had not been without challenges, but she carried herself with confidence and kindness. For 3 years, she and Chaturang had lived together, navigating the gossip of neighbors who whispered about the age gap, but also witnessing their determination to make the relationship work. Against the odds, they decided to marry. On the morning of November 25th, 2023, their wedding day began like so many others in rural Thailand. The groom, accompanied by friends and family, led a traditional procession to fetch his bride. Drums pounded, music filled the air. Neighbors came out to watch, clapping along as the groom smiled and waved. Later that morning, monks blessed the couple in a ceremony filled with incense, prayers, and the sound of chants echoing through the temple. In the afternoon, rings were exchanged. Photographs were taken of smiling faces, proud parents, children in bright clothes, and a couple whose love seemed now officially sealed. By the time the banquet began that evening, everyone believed it was the start of a new chapter. Tables groaned under the weight of food. Plates of fish, bowls of curry, rice, sweets. Guests raised glasses of beer and rice wine, toasting the couple. Some sang karaoke, others laughed as they posed for more photographs. The bride beamed, her hair perfectly styled, her smile radiant. The groom, however, sat apart. He was drinking heavily, his face clouded. His laughter, if it came, was short and brittle. People noticed. A few whispered. Some guests leaned over to Kanchana, asking softly what was wrong. She shrugged, brushing it off, determined to keep the night joyous. But beneath the music and the clinking of glasses, tension was building. According to witnesses, an argument had erupted between them. The details varied in retellings, but one point was consistent: money. In Thai weddings, it is customary for families to exchange sin sod, bride price money presented in a ceremonial display. Chaturang wanted Kanchana to contribute part of that money toward the expenses of the wedding itself. She refused. To her, it was symbolic, something for the family's honor, not a pool of cash to be divided. To him, it became something else entirely, a sign that she was not fully committed, that she might keep something from him, that she was already thinking of herself more than of their shared future. But this wasn't just about money. For Chaturang, it was about loyalty, about control, about insecurity that had been festering for years. He was younger, physically scarred, carrying the invisible weight of his disability and the silent shame of dependency. She was older, confident, independent, still connected to her ex-husband because of her children. Each of these facts gnawed at him in quiet moments. To outsiders, he was the brave ex-Marine, the medal-winning para-athlete. But inside, he was consumed by jealousy. Every phone call to her ex-husband was a wound. Every reminder of her independence was a shadow on his pride. That night, fueled by alcohol, those shadows closed in. Around 11:30 p.m., Chaturang rose from his seat and walked out. A few guests glanced after him, murmuring. Some thought he had gone to smoke, or to breathe, or to find a bathroom. Minutes passed. The bride's friends leaned toward her, asking again what was wrong. She smiled faintly, perhaps already worried. And then he returned. He stepped back into the hall. His face was pale, his jaw clenched tight, his hand buried deep in his pocket. A strange hush fell over the crowd. The music faltered. A few people noticed, went still, as if some instinct told them something was about to happen. And then came the gunfire. In less than half a minute, the room erupted into chaos. 12 shots in rapid succession. Plates shattered. Glasses fell. Guests screamed and ducked under tables. Smoke from the gun mixed with the acrid smell of spilt beer and food. And when the smoke cleared, the scene was one of devastation. The bride, Kanchana, lay dead, killed instantly by bullets fired by the man she had just married. Her mother, too, was killed. Her sister also. A 50-year-old guest, Thongchai Shrikayo, who had bravely tried to intervene, collapsed to the ground, dead from gunfire. Another guest, 28-year-old Bamrungchat, was shot and gravely wounded, but miraculously survived. And finally, as panic spread and people fled, the groom turned the gun on himself. His body fell among the wreckage of the wedding tables. The night was over. The death toll, 5. The bride, her mother, her sister, the guest who tried to stop him, and the groom himself. Police arrived quickly. Sirens cut through the village silence. Officers stepped into a scene that left them speechless. Overturned chairs, blood pooled on the floor, flower arrangements shattered and stained red, children crying, guests trembling. Investigators recovered 13 spent casings from the floor, all fired from Chaturang's legally purchased handgun, a weapon he had owned since his days in the military. In the corner of the hall, the newlyweds' rings still glittered on a table, beside untouched plates of food. Why did this happen? That was the question everyone asked. Friends and relatives told investigators that Chaturang had long struggled with jealousy and insecurity. He often compared himself to other men. He resented the 15-year age gap. He was haunted by Kanchana's continued contact with her ex-husband, even though it was purely about co-parenting their children. To outsiders, he seemed strong, inspirational. But inside, he was fragile, haunted by fears of abandonment, betrayal, unworthiness. On his wedding night, those fears, fueled by alcohol, erupted into catastrophe. Psychological experts would later suggest that jealousy of this kind, if left unspoken, can become poison. It can grow from doubt into obsession, from fear into control, from suspicion into violence. And when that obsession is mixed with alcohol and a firearm, the result can be deadly. The massacre also forced Thailand to confront a larger issue: guns. The country has an estimated 10.3 million firearms, about 15 for every 100 people, the highest gun ownership rate in Southeast Asia. Nearly 4 in every 100,000 Thais die each year from gun-related incidents. Just weeks earlier, in October 2023, a 14-year-old boy had opened fire inside Bangkok's Siam Paragon Mall, killing 2 people and wounding 5 others. The government responded by suspending new gun licenses for a year, a dramatic move meant to calm public fears. Yet only 2 days after that announcement, this wedding massacre took place. A grim reminder that laws alone cannot stop what lies deeper: emotional wounds, untreated mental struggles, cultural acceptance of firearms. For the families left behind, grief was overwhelming. Funerals were held in temples across Loei. Coffins were draped with flowers. Monks chanted. Relatives wept beside portraits of Kanchana, her mother, her sister. Guests who had once celebrated that morning now carried garlands. To funerals, their faces hollow with disbelief. The bride, the woman who had spent years building a future with courage and kindness, was gone. The groom, once celebrated as a para-athlete, once admired as an example of resilience, was also gone. 2 lives entwined in tragedy, ending in fire and blood. For survivors, the memory of that night will never fade. Instead of music and laughter, they remember screams and gunfire. Instead of blessings, they recall the sight of a man pulling a gun on his bride. What should have been the beginning of a shared life became the end of 5. This case is not only about jealousy, it is about the fragile line between love and possession, between strength and insecurity. It is about the silence of mental health struggles in cultures that encourage men to appear strong, never vulnerable. It is about the danger of firearms in homes where emotions run unchecked. And it is about the cruelty of fate, where a day meant for joy turned into a story of horror that will echo for years to come. Love is fragile when it is burdened by fear, and when fears remain unspoken, even the happiest day can turn into one of unspeakable sorrow. You've just heard the story of the wedding massacre in Thailand. But what do you think? Was this purely the act of jealousy, or was it also the collapse of a man broken by hidden struggles in a society flooded with guns? Share your thoughts in the comments, I'll be reading them all. And if this case shook you as deeply as it shook me, don't forget to subscribe to Crimenest. Every week we bring you true stories that reveal both the darkness people are capable of and the fragile strength it takes to survive. Until next time, stay safe.